When the outdated tactics get left behind, it's time we stop. Marketers look around when your ranking's going down.
Rand, why do you think a lot of stuff that people think will go viral doesn't go viral? Why does a lot of viral stuff that people create fail? Or why do others succeed?
Yeah. So biggest reasons for failure in my experience are wrong content, meaning whatever you were creating was not actually the right thing to create, right? It was not something that was deeply interesting to the audience that might pick it up and talk about it, or to a broader audience of people who might amplify it. Second one is you created something that did not intentionally target people who have the ability to amplify things, right? So for example, we were talking about like the Ruby on Rails resources. If you solve a Ruby on Rails developer's problem really, really well, you do it better than anyone else in the known universe has ever solved any developer problem, they're going to be grateful. They're going to like that. They're probably not going to share it. And no one who covers, the space of programming and development is likely to be like, ooh, this resource really solves this problem well. I should tweet about it, post about it on LinkedIn, put it on Facebook. I don't know, make an Instagram story about it.
Is there an updated word for linkerati? I think you were the one that coined the linkerati. Is that still the word we're talking about here?
I mean, it's not necessarily just links, right? It's I'm going to talk about and amplify this publicly. It could be I'm going to include it in my New York Times piece. It could be I'm going to have this person as a guest on my podcast to talk about it. Just amplifiers, right? So yeah, maybe the new word is amplifiers. And if you create things without thinking about who will help amplify this and why will they do it, what is their motivation, you will be missing out, right? So that's the second one. The third one is I'd call it sort of serendipity and timing. So I'm sure you've both seen this, where someone will create some incredibly interesting piece of content. They'll write a story about something and it'll flop. It won't do anything. And then a few months or a couple of years later, some other outlet picks it up. Some other person picks it up and suddenly, oh, that did go viral. Why did it go viral this time? This story's been talked about, 50 times before. Tons of people have published on it. Why this time? And the answer is serendipity and timing. And so, Ross Simmons from Foundation Inc., whose work I really admire and love, he talks about this, like, if you have produced content in the past and you think it has the potential to reach a lot of people and be useful to them, or be amplified by them, you should be promoting it regularly. Don't just sit on it. And I've tried to take this advice to heart a little bit. In fact, I had a big success with this yesterday. I shared an old blog post from like 9 months ago that I put on SparkToro. And it did way better yesterday than it did when I published it. I don't know. It's serendipity and timing, right? Maybe it was the way the tweet was phrased. Maybe people were just thinking about that topic now and they weren't thinking about it as much back then. So I think it's those three. And then the fourth one, which does affect quite a bit of content, is quality. It's just not good, or it's not that good. It's a 7 out of 10 and you really needed a 10 out of 10.
So is the fifth one the title? Because I know the name is really important. The name, or how you word that. What are some of your tips for naming as well? Or tweeting or naming the article?
So we have this system that we sort of like to use at SparkToro, which is the hook, line, sinker model, right? And so the basic idea is that your title headline should create a hook, like a reason. Oh, I'm really curious about that. I want to read that piece. That piece inspires me to want to learn more about that subject. It doesn't do the saved you a click. It does the opposite, like earned a click from you. And that those types of headlines are what I'd call hook headlines, hook titles. And then the line and sinker. Line is sort of like the opening paragraph, few paragraphs, first 30 seconds of a video, first, few seconds of a podcast, right? It's those kinds of like quick grab you and hold on to your attention so that you have time to deliver on the sinker. And the sinker has to live up to the promise of the hook, right? So hook is making a promise, making a suggestion of an idea like, oh, if you do this, you will get this. And, movie trailers do this really, really well. They create a hook like, ooh, I really want to see, I don't know, that red monster blow up that planet over there. This seems to be popular with in movies today. And so like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie so that I can see red monster guy blow up the planet because, ooh, that was promised to me. And then the line is kind of the build up and the sinker is, oh man, that planet better get blown up by that red monster. Otherwise I'm going to walk out of this theater real disappointed. And your content, generally speaking, when I say content, any kind of content, a video, short form, like a tweet, right? The first little bit of a tweet can do this. A thread could do it. A LinkedIn post could do it. A blog post can do it. So that's the model we like.
When your ranking's going down.